like come here and speak up. Um, Come in and speak up so that you can get what you need. Like this meeting, um, truly helped me get over the blocks that I was working through to get to where I am now, and it continues to help me. So I just want you guys first to make sure that you're utilizing this space so you can really overcome, so you can really move forward. Um, but me, I'll share where I am. So I'm in a place of um, realizing that I need to develop leaders. And so we were reading a book, and it was talking about different bridges or whatever that you cross, um, just in the profession. And just realizing and recognizing the bridge that I was at, it was really good for me just to reflect on the bridges that I've crossed. Because a lot of times, um, I forget where God has brought me from. I forget the process that I went through. I forget how much work that I did um, to get here, and I start to negate it. Especially when I feel like things aren't looking the way that I desire them to, and things of that nature. I start to negate all of that and be ungrateful. Be grateful I didn't, oh, she said be grateful I didn't sleep, but no, be ungrateful, like not realizing and holding on to where he brought me from to allow me to, or allow him to take me further. And so just recognizing, it's okay, like it's a learning game. And so, or it's a learning process. And my pastor yesterday, he talked about um riding a like bike riding. And you know how when you first ride a bike or start trying to ride a bike, like you're leaning and rocking and like trying to catch your balance and trying to catch your footing. But if you don't continue to ride or try to get up and ride the bike, you'll never learn. And just knowing that once you ride the bike, once you actually get your balance and you're able to ride the bike, you're always able to ride the bike. And so just being okay with me in the stages of like transitioning into an actual leader of leaders, and like being okay with the transition and knowing that it's just another stepping stone. It's just another point of growth. I've grown so much, but it's time to grow again so that I can get to, I mean, growth is just a continual process, but it's time to really, really like hone in and level up in that area so that I can go to the next level, and just being okay with the process, and the process of catching my balance and, catching my footing when it comes to being a leader of leaders so that I can go to the next level. So that's where I'm at. Just working through that, also finding my identity outside of
Wait a
this.
minute, what happened?
Carly, you got
You never
something?
had emo?
Oh. Dang, I just forgot what I was saying.
He said that's where I'm at, just working through the leaders of leaders.
And finding my identity outside this business, because I don't have an identity per se. Like I attach my identity to my titles of whatever it is that I am. And so because I have yet to find me an identity outside of this business, um I I attach my worth to that. And so if I feel like it doesn't look in the way that I want it to look, or it's not going in the way that I want it to go, then I start to devalue myself, start to question my worth, start to, just really, really fall into that imposter syndrome again. And so just really, I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting so that I can truly, truly work through these things so that I can go to the next level. Like I'm just ready to get there, and everything is like being highlighted. God is really showing me the areas that I need to really work and develop in. And I'm just really grateful to realize it and recognize it so that I can really do what I need to do to overcome and get to the next place.
Hey, good morning. So there's something you said, Brittany, that was so good, you know, and it won't be exactly how you said it, but remembering everything that God has done. And I know for myself, being able to, because it is very easy to get so focused on where you want to go that you don't give yourself the opportunity to see where he's brought you. And I think it's so important, because and that's a lot of us when we think about this business, because we're thinking about like this big picture, and a lot of people, a lot of people say I come into the business for $200, $500 a month. And recently, God has been having me say, I'm officially working in abundance in my business. And what I mean by that is I've gotten well beyond what I came for. I came for $500 a month to be able to help my husband pay rent. You know what I mean? And I'm officially in the abundance. And so in my business, even though there's so much more for me to get, but it's just important because it just keeps me in that state of gratitude. But also when I think of everything that I've journeyed through in the process over the last 6 years of the business, it kind of prepares me to know, okay, if I'm going to I've gone to another level. As I'm going to go to another level, there's going to be some more journeying, but I have to remember that, because when I'm sitting in it, when you're sitting in it, it's kind of hard to think like, man, where is the exit from this season, Jesus? Like, where is the exit from this space? And it's just important to be able to, I don't like to use the word ponder because I don't think I should ponder on things, but it's important for me to say, oh my gosh, okay, just 2 months ago, God took me from, living in a hotel, to this part of, to another part of my life. And so I think that's so good, Brittany, and something that I've been thinking about a lot, even with my journaling, where, when I'm journaling, I'm thinking, okay, man, God really has, when you give yourself the opportunity, because I'm living my life so much, it kind of goes so fast, but just to kind of slow down. And even just thinking about 365 days and just the difference in that. And that sometimes is enough to get me to the next moment. But it also sometimes that moment is saying, okay, I was supposed to grow from that. Why am I still here? Or why am I still, God intended for me to grow from that. So that was a really great reflection piece, Brittany, is saying, don't negate how far I've come. But also don't negate it, because that wasn't supposed to be a stopping point for me. God never has me at a stopping point. There's another part. There's another point of growth. So it's been kind of the same thing for me. And what I've been reflecting on this last week is everything that I get to learn, everything that I get to teach, and all of those different things am I embodying that every day? Right. Because I keep telling myself that there's no information that I don't have I have every single piece of information I need to be at the level that I desire to be in my business. And that's just point blank, period, from what I've gotten from my leaders, from what we read, from what I've learned. And so now that gap is it's just me, you know what I mean? And so, really being able to process to say, with the information that I have, how am I making this real life for me so that it can take me, where I desire to be. So glad you said that, Brittany, so I don't lose sight of everything that I've gotten. But I also know that God is always moving me forward and doesn't want me to be too content, right? You could be grateful and still want the next level. So, okay, she's about to have a fit.
That's good. Somebody was unmuting, because definitely go ahead and talk. Who was that, Cass? You was unmuting? You was giving yourself away. You gave yourself away. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm always gonna give myself away. Like that's the whatever. It'd be my face. I know. No. So where I'm at is I'm excited. Like I'm really in a place of excitement. Today, I think over the last week, I'm not even gonna lie, last week was a little bit difficult for me, but I kept trying to pivot and be okay and have fun. I noticed it was times where I was thinking like that, like I was having fun. Like on Saturday, I went and scored some basketball games and I was having some fun, but then I felt like I needed to overcompensate because I want to have fun. And so then I had to deal with that with myself, because it's like, no, like, you didn't go into business for yourself to not have fun and enjoy life. And he wants us to have fun and whatnot. so I know last week was difficult, and let me tell you, it was difficult. But then, like, I'm still excited because for little things like seeing one of my business partners, my distributor, she's on the top enrollments. I'm like, come on, girl, like, yeah. So like that's exciting, and just making sure I recheck myself to look at like the different, like what that looks like, and as my business evolves, like what gets me going, you know? And I think, I forgot who mentioned, I think it was Brittany, a couple of weeks ago, but I used to do that when I worked for somebody. Like, nobody really liked their job, but you always find a part of it that you like. So just really continue to excite myself each day, as a Blue, you know, you gotta find that excitement. So, but I'm excited. It's gonna be a great week, great day. I'm gonna close this emerald. We gonna get some rubies popping, you know.
So, one thing I want to share with you guys, and I know that me making a decision to let go every single day is going to help for you guys. Okay. There are going to be people who show up, and there are 24 people, 23 on this call right now. Good morning, Melissa. And I'm just being completely real, okay? 23 people on here besides Brianna and I. All 23 are not about that life. And if you felt some type of way, that's fine. This is just a reality. And I'm talking about you looking through the eyes of a mentor, not from you looking through the eyes of yourself. Because you're like, she ain't talking to me, that's fine. I'm not talking to you. Like, get out your feelings. I'm talking to a mentor. When people show up, just because they show up does not mean they're all in. Okay? You do not attribute, that doesn't mean discredit them showing up. But you're going to have to use a discernment meter based on their actions to know if they really want your help. And it's crazy because I feel like it's just all going together, but relational intelligence definitely has a big part of this. Just because people are on your team does not mean they're your assignment. Okay? Like, this is like, what you mean? They under me. That does not mean that they're your assignment. That means that you lead them and that you guide them based on what you know. You provide resources, and there comes some points. I mean, perfectly, you guys never have to experience this, but there comes some points where you might have to sever ties with somebody who's actually in your organization because they're doing too much. They're too far left. They don't want your leadership, so they need to go, right? But perfectly, I never have to deal with that. But that does not necessarily mean that they really deserve. And when I say deserve, I mean that your coaching and your time. Because if somebody on your team, this is why I just get on here and I want to just listen. Because at this point right now, some of you guys are new, welcome. Just listen in, get what you can from it. Speak up if you have questions and concerns. Newbie Circle is really a space that you can grow so much from learning here, But the biggest thing here is that if you're here to work through what you're going through, the real question is, what are you really working on? Like, do you come here every single week looking the same way? Then are you really working on something? Or are you just checking a box? Like, oh, I went to Monday meetup today, so I work my business. Boo, your business isn't growing because you're not growing. And as a mentor, you have to realize that some people are box checkers. They have no desire to truly change. And you can tell when they show up because nothing's changing. The way they talk doesn't change. The way they enroll doesn't change. The way they view things don't change. You know they're not doing personal development. Ain't no way. ain't no way they talk to Jesus. Like, you ain't no way. Ain't no Jesus time. You ain't even just giving yourself 30 seconds in the morning. Like, you can tell there's no transformation, no fruit whatsoever in their life. And that doesn't give you permission not to love them, but you have to release them. And what I mean by that is you will never grow. I'm telling y'all, like, personal experience, you will never grow. I had some last week, and I had talked to Brianna about this, and I was like, y'all know I talk to Brianna about everything, but I was talking to Brianna about this, and I was like, what this person just did does not make sense. It it don't, like, what they did not make sense. And I was like part of me, you know, my care and concern, I love this person, I wanted to reach out, like, you know, to help perspective, like, this is off. And if somebody on your team would do this, you would be like, this is off. Like, you wouldn't appreciate it at all. And you would be wondering, like, what's wrong with this person or whatever. And there is a way to do everything. This is why our number one value is communication. This is the same when it comes to friendships and relationships. And Relational Goals talks about relational intelligence. It talks about this because there's times where your relationship may change with somebody where it needs to be said. A lot of people walk away from this business in cowardice. I'm just being honest, y'all. A lot of people how they walk away from the business because they feel like it's not working is very cowardly. They just go ghost. They don't want it. They don't want to face the fact that they really didn't try. They really didn't ask for help. They really didn't give you a fair chance to help out. They allowed what somebody else said to deter them or whatever. And that's just the name of the game when it comes to this business. And a lot of y'all you have to understand that's just a part of the game. You're going to have people who go ghost and they never tried. And if you pay attention and keep following them, they're going to say it didn't work. And we know they didn't work. Like, we know it, but you can't get caught up in that. But anyways, back to the situation. And I wanted to reach out and I wanted to be like, okay, blah, 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 you know, this. And I couldn't, like, it was like a tap from the Holy Ghost. Like, no, that person knows better. I mean, 100% knows better. 100% for years. You have to release that and stop paying attention to it. And does that mean that other aspects of our relationship may change? Yes. There is nothing that can happen. Like, you cannot control that. You cannot control people. And I think a lot of times people try to put people in certain categories and they cannot serve in two spaces if they don't serve in this one. Sometimes, but sometimes no. You know what, the book Built to Last, the book that Brittany was talking about. I think that, yeah, right. Brittany was talking about Built to Last. We read that last month, or this month, it was this month that we read that book. And he was talking about how, and it was so funny, he was saying this, he said you need to, like, completely shut down your life and just commit to your business and just sacrifice for a season. And I'm like, I've been in a place to sacrifice for years, okay? Because I want the tip of the top. Like, I want the top of the iceberg. That's what I desire. And so I've been in that place for some years now. And when I really think about being there in that space, you have to you have to be willing to give up way more than what we physically believe that we're willing to give up. Like, that's just in all honesty. Like, people be like, well, I want to do this business full time. Do you know the level of focus that it takes to do this business full time and how easy it is to get off your marker? Like, it is very easy to get off your marker. It's very easy to not send messages. It's very easy to not post. It's very easy to not focus on personal development. It's very easy to not get up in the morning and have your alone time. It's very easy. These are things that are very easy. And if you're not surrounded by people who already do this, and that's why I believe God started to put me in circles where that was the people's norm. Like, that was like, right, yeah, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the norm. I had to get into circles where that was the norm. Even if they weren't connected to the business, like, them working on themselves was the number one priority. It's the number one priority. It couldn't, my peers, and I'm saying my peers, could not be people who didn't do that because I wanted the next level. And so I had to be willing to release people, places, things, events, and ask God to deliver me from them. Because some people, like, it's familiarity. It's a spirit of familiarity. And that is a spirit that will hold you. Like, being familiar. Like, I don't know if y'all even notice in real life, like, when it comes to spirits, they attach themselves. Familiar spirits attach themselves. They really do. So if you have a familiar spirit inside of you that somebody else has, even good or bad, it's going to attach to you. And you're going to be like, well, we just got so much in common. And you're like, I just can't. But she really not doing what I want to do. But I see the potential in her life. You know what I'm saying? Like, she real nice person. But no, that's a familiar spirit. And you need to run away because that is not what you desire for your life. And if you spend some time with Jesus in the morning, he'd show and reveal it to you and say, run. You'd get the tap that says, hey, this ain't good, boo. Like, this ain't, I know it feel good, but this ain't what you want. That's the song too. Okay. Anyways, it is a song. I be getting distracted. I got a lot up there. Just that we rebuking and binding it in the name of Jesus. Anyways, but I'm trying to tell you guys, like, what I've learned is that everybody who shows up, you cannot indicate showing up as a means to mentor. It's based on action. Have people read the book that you suggested? Have people sent the messages? You know, I love this. I mean, I mostly do this with my newbies, but if I have an old head, I'd be like, pull your inbox up. Like let's see what we talking about. And I don't care what rank you are. Because if you're telling me you desire something and you're coming from my time and space and you want my honesty, then let's see what's up. Instead of just coming and say, I'm struggling. I'm not sending the messages. I haven't. Okay, I'll say, shut down. Read this book today. It's up to you to do it. It's up to you to trust the person that's leading you to do it. And it's crazy because I'm reading another book today and Winning. If you haven't read Relentless, though, don't read Winning yet. But he was saying how, like, sometimes what he did with Michael Jordan didn't work. He said, everything that I've tried does not work, but they're trusting me. I'm their trainer. I don't care if it's not going to work or not. I'm the person who's looking and we're going to try, but I've got your best interest at heart and I see something that you can't see. So it's immediately when I see it doesn't work, I'm shifting, but you got to trust me enough to do what I'm saying to do. And I was like, man, that's real. I mean, because Winning is whole nother level. Like I try to tell people, if you ain't read Relentless and made it through Relentless alive and breathing, don't touch Winning. Like, don't touch it because Relentless is going to check your whole life. So Winning is like whole nother level, real. So, I mean, I just want to free somebody today where you be like, well, they show up to everything. That means nothing if the work is not being done. There are people who show up to church all the time and they still ratchet. That was me. Okay. I was still in the club on Friday just because I came to church on Saturday too. Just because I was at church on Sunday did not mean anything. I mean, it meant something, but not, that didn't mean I was somebody that you want your kids to follow because they're going to follow me right to the club and I'm probably going to buy them some shots if they 21. Just saying. So hopefully that helps free somebody today. You got to have discernment when it comes to this business. Have to.
That's so good. I was I was actually thinking about like my mentorship and stuff like that. And I have been praying more about it. And I have been noticing, like, when I'm on Zooms with certain people or talking to certain people, I will get it like this. It's like they're not, like you said, they're not, like if I say read this or suggest this and they're not doing it and they're still coming with the same struggles, same oppositions and things like that, it's because you haven't taken the time to get over it. You haven't taken the time to work on whatever it is that's hindering you. And I feel like it's like, okay. And even with the book, it's like, you have to let people go. Like you don't have any more time to waste. Like basically you don't have time to waste. And then even Pastor Hannah came back and he was like, I'm not wasting any more oil on anybody. And I was like, okay. So it was confirmation after confirmation. And it's not that I don't want to help them. I don't want to coach, but it's like, they have to be willing. They have to be willing and just understand that it's okay to let them go until they're ready. And just finding someone else that will be coached and will go and will understand and will do the things that it takes to go forward, and just understanding that. So I've been doing a lot of self just evaluating, but also I was talking to Brittany about this. I was like, I'm single. I was like, we were laughing because I was like, I feel like the marriage ministry is really intact on the Money Squad. I was like, the single ministry is like, we just really need to figure that out, right? Because I was looking at my page and I was telling her, I was like, you see me in the kitchen, you see me working out, you see me in my business. I was like, but I need to incorporate something else that's fun so that people can know that you can be, living for God and don't have to be a complete turn up, with everything added, but it can be fun and you can take this business with you. So like really understanding that, and not having to, like, because Drew was talking about overcompensating, not trying to be like, okay, just because I went go-kart racing or whatever for an hour and a half, I don't feel like I have to come home now and send like 300 messages. No, do the work and set your intentional windows in the morning and your schedule so that you can do that and come back and show that you have the freedom to do that so really for me being like really getting back to my schedule, because like you said, you hit on it, like being full-time at home, you can easily be distracted. Like I've been easily distracted and it was like, where did the time go? I was like, no. So now like sitting down and being like, okay, this is the time that you're going to do this. Like there's no it's a non-negotiable. Like this is the time, this is the window, you need to get this done, because if you could sit here all day and be on Facebook and send 100 messages, but that's not what you require. You require greater, so you need to send 200 plus. Like, and that's just for me. But just understanding that and like having to sit down and be like, look, this is what you need to do. Pull your green out, get this schedule done, organize your day, but also incorporating the blue. Like I said, incorporating the blue. And I think that's why I have some blues around me, because I'm not one of those where I have to be like, oh, it's have to be fun, because I'm very competitive in nature, even with myself. So I'm like, look, I'm getting my 5 today, and I will sit there until I get my 5. But I'm like, no, I need to definitely incorporate something else so that I'm not feeling like this is all that I'm doing and having some fun with being at home full time. So that's where I'm at.
I think that has a lot to do with finding your people though. And I mean, that's real. Because even when it comes to Brianna and I, we hang out, but we don't necessarily hang out with other couples right now. Like first of all, we hang out with nobody, but we don't necessarily hang out with other couples. I mean, because you have to find the right people, or you have to be willing to be the influence. So, and I think it's us removing ourselves from what was fun. And I don't know if you guys remember, but a few Monday meetups ago, it might have been a while ago, maybe it wasn't even Monday meetup, it might have just been the Diamonds, but we were having an honest conversation about not knowing who we are and not feeling comfortable in our own skin, because needing, the whole liquid courage thing, or being under the influence of some type to let me loosen up. Like, no, if that's who you really are, you should be able to be that person regardless. You shouldn't need alcohol to discover who you are. Like that's not really who you are. You don't need alcohol to be that person. And it's so funny because I love seeing, especially on TikTok, like you can see the uncomfortableness. Like you can see that people are uncomfortable, but to give them a drink, you wouldn't see none of that, which is why other people's TikToks may go viral, because they drunk as their thing. And so they don't care, they let that whole window down. But when you're actually conscious of what you're doing, you're second guessing, is this okay? Or maybe you're concerned about, will people like this? Or, oh, I'm awkward, instead of just embracing like, oh, I'm awkward, like that whole shebang of truly. And I mean, we in our 30s, some of us in our 30s, trying to finally embrace who you really are. And that's uncomfortable. And if you don't know who you are and you go around somebody else who believes that they know who they are, or is still under the gift of their liquid curtain, I give, Lord, whatever. If they still in that place, they will become the person who influences you. And so that's not necessarily a place that you should be. You get what I'm saying? Because it's I get it. Like that's a lot, because finding those friends who are truly committed and are not lukewarm. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I probably would say out of I mean, I got a whole bunch of contacts in my phone. Like in my phone, we know you watch the War Room, the hot code. I probably say about 3% of my phone list is hot. And I got a lot of contacts in my phone. And 3% is flirting. It might be 1%. Everybody else, lukewarm. They will bend. My friends that love Jesus are still where I was. Like where it was, I love Jesus, but we finna go hit this happy hour. They lukewarm. And it's no judgment. I just can't be there. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. I was oh yeah. So yesterday I was at a wedding. Lord help me, Jesus. I was at a wedding yesterday and I was telling the leaders about this. Okay. Telling them about this morning. I was at a wedding and how many of y'all, well, in our 20s, weddings was lit, okay? So everybody was getting married. Ain't nobody getting married now. But everybody was getting married in our 20s. Like we was at wedding after wedding after wedding. We had like 4 weddings a year, bare minimum, okay? Everybody was trying to get married, especially after college. And so weddings were our things. I didn't bring my kids to weddings, okay? Definitely did not. Absolutely not, because I knew what was going to go down at the wedding. Like, we're going to have a great time. I would travel for weddings. We're going to South Carolina, to Chicago, to whoever, okay? And we're going to have a blast. Don't want my kids in those type of environments. But it was crazy because if you don't catch yourself, you will find yourself looking like what you were delivered from. And so even something as simple as a wedding, and you'd be like, well, Rachel, that's not a big deal, you know, that it could be a barbecue. Yeah, it could be a barbecue. I don't know if y'all get what I'm saying, but it could be something as simple as a barbecue. If you are submerged in something that you were recently, and I feel recently, it's only been 2-3 years for me. That's recently delivered from, you cannot sit in that and think that your flesh is not going to crawl. It's going to crawl. And so it's the same thing. Like I'm praying for y'all to figure it out. Okay. I am praying for y'all to figure it out because that's a whole lot, especially when you've decided to be sold out. If you're not sold out, it's not as difficult. It's really not. But if you've decided to be sold out, that's a whole nother story.
So something you said.
Oh, real quick, I'm sorry, because Alexis asked what's hot. Hot means that you are completely sold out. Cold, the Bible says that he would rather you be hot or cold. He does not like lukewarm. So people who play the field, like I love Jesus, but I smoke a little bit. I love Jesus, but I curse a little bit. That is lukewarm. It's good for a shirt, but it's not good for Jesus. He doesn't, he still loves you, but that's not what he desires. He'd rather you just go out, be in the streets. Like, just go do your thing. And then when you're ready, come holler at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here when you're ready. Instead of playing both sides, you're really not helping yourself playing both sides.
Oh, couldn't find my button. When you were talking before, Robin, and I was kind of thinking about my journey, we're talking about mentorship and me growing into a better mentor always helped when I was showing up as a better mentee. And I'm going to tell you guys what I mean by that. So my mentor tells me to do this, do that. And I'm talking about like step by step. Like if I have a one-to-one with Rachel and she says, do this from A to Z, right? But I skip a few letters in between, I really can't be mad if I don't make it to Z, right? Like do this, do that, but I start to take out steps. But the moments where I decide, let me actually do every single thing that was asked of me, and then I start to see the results happening by simply showing up as a mentee and really, not just hearing what's being said, but like actually going forth and do it. And then I see the result from it. And so what happens, whether you're intentionally thinking it's happening or not, you have this feeling like, man, when I decided to do every single thing for my as a mentee, if I can do that I understand what it takes for me to have a successful relationship with someone as I mentor them. because I was able to see myself on both sides. So kind of remembering, you know, if I can be an amazing mentee and I understand everything that happens when I decide to fully lean into coaching, fully lean into teaching, and then fully lean into doing, and then I see how I'm growing and as I'm winning as a person in business. And then when it comes to me over to the mentorship side, I was able to give myself a clear view of what it looks like and what it means to have somebody who's actually partnering with me from my own personal experience, right? Or even if you could think about your own personal experience, like, man, I showed up all last week, but was I actually effective? You know what I mean? So sometimes the things that we do on the other side clearly answers questions for us, like clearly answers questions for us. I was here, but I wasn't here. And so that once you put that self-reflection kind of helps when you then start to think of it on another place. Like there's been moments in my business where I didn't fully listen, right? And so now I get to say, as I'm mentoring this person, I don't have to feel some type of way that they're not getting the results that they're not getting, because I know I said it would need to be said. And I know that they purely didn't listen, because it was the same thing that happened to me when I was on the mentee side. And so one of the steps to becoming a better mentor is becoming a better mentee, and allow yourself to be mentor when they're not teaching. If I don't know if that makes sense to you at all, but allowing them to teach you when they're not intentionally teach you, coach you when they're not intentionally coach you. And so what I mean by that is when I'm in the space with people who are my mentors, I'm always looking for a moment to be taught something that I'm going to be able to use in the space where I become a mentor. So every time I'm in this space, I'm like, she may not be teaching, but I'm going to be taught, if that makes sense. And so just always being willing to say, okay, she's going to say something that I need to hear today, that I don't know, that I need to hear it for myself to learn and listen. So even if I'm hearing the same thing, how you get into training, it's like, man, I've heard this before. Let me listen again, because if I'm going to grow as a mentor, if I can be very in tune and focused as a mentee, when it's time for me to show up as a mentor, it's going to be there. It's just going to be there. So listen, if you are in a space with me, you've probably heard something that I heard from Rachel. Right? Maybe in a leadership space, I'm like, yeah. Gonna use that one, you know what I mean? And so are you putting yourself in the position to say, I'm gonna be so great of a mentee as I'm growing into myself? Me as a mentee can be a reflection of how great I'm gonna be as a mentor, period. And I've learned that in so many ways. And so I'm glad that you talked about that, because that's been an area of opportunity, and my business is known as learning when to pivot. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. I was erasing on my chart, and Holy Spirit be talking to me. He said, when you're erasing somebody in your chart, you have to erase people from your chart, because we always look at it as giving up on someone, but really what it is it's unfair to the person who's not able to get that time from you that they needed. So I'm not taking someone off my chart. I'm putting someone there so I can give somebody else the opportunity to have me in a full way that someone else didn't. So it's more of me thinking about the person who's going on, not really thinking about what's going off. So it's always gaining. So when I'm not willing to take someone off the chart who doesn't need to go off the chart, it's unfair to the person who's really showing up, and I'm not giving them all that they need to give because I'm not willing to put them on. So, yeah.
Alice, you want to jump in, boo? Like, I saw your hand.
I was gonna talk a little bit about identity, like Brittany was talking about. She didn't really know who she was outside of this business, and that kind of struck a chord with me, because I've been in the business for 5 years. The entire time I've been in this business, I've been going through a divorce. And I mean, some of y'all have heard me mention this, but everything has been transitioning for me. And the one constant has just been the business being here. Because I was gonna say, if it wasn't for this business, if I had a job, I would have got fired. I did. I did get laid off. So I've gone through a couple different jobs. I've gone through a couple different boyfriends. I've gone through some friendships. I've gone my uplines and stuff have transitioned out. I've had some downlines leave, some accountability partners leave. The one constant has been this business. And I felt like that was something that was kind of keeping me grounded. My productivity has not always been consistent, But just knowing that I have this and I can come back to it and work and I can pick myself up, or just having like the grace period of like some days it's a struggle, like going back in and forth to court and like arguing with people, like having the grace period of, oh goodness, okay, this month was just horrible, but I'm still getting paid because the work that I did 3 months ago. Like when that residual income tapped in for me, I was just like, oh, this is where it's at. Because I wouldn't have that grace period with a job. And then just the personal development has helped me, not just with business, but with like life and life situations. So, and then just being a part of such a great team. And then Rachel, having you being so consistent in who you are, who you're trying to be in your relationship with God, like that's been a good anchor. Because I mean, even with like other people's businesses, like you can see leadership transition in and out, but I kind of know, like, I would be shocked if you went somewhere. Like that would just be like, oh, okay. I didn't see that coming, but you can kind of see other things in the works and other stuff coming. But I'm like, okay, Money Squad and it works, and the products, that's been my constant. And it's just been good to have. Like, so when hopefully it's over next month, because I'm tired. But yeah. Then I could really get in here and kill some things without that monkey on my back. Cause I just feel like that just be wearing on me. And I'm like, do I sign up more people? I can't lead them. Like today I couldn't get out the bed. Like what? So yeah, I was all over the place with that. But I'm glad this team, this company ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't have to worry about the company folding. Like we have good people in corporate. Like I've seen companies fall since I've been in this business. And this is just, it's nice to have something steady and stable when there are so many things in my life that have just been changing. Like I've moved, like everything, so much has changed. But I know I'm gonna get up every morning and I'm gonna go live and I'm gonna take my greens. So that's here. All right, I'm done.
In her bikini, okay. You know, and that's crazy that she said that, because I mean, I've been here for 8 years. June 17th, I think it is 16th, 17th. Let me get y'all a date. Let me get y'all a date and my address. I'm just but the crazy thing for me that you say that, and I think it's just the grace, the giving yourself the grace, because like you said, like this is constant, it's consistent, and it will always show you grace. I mean, I'm not gonna say always, because if you do the most, something that is super non-compliant, you're gone. They don't have a tolerance for the monkey business. They don't, especially they protecting businesses. Like we don't play that. So, but outside of the lack of integrity, you know, this business will be graceful. But I think about like when I first started this business, and I went through this, still going through it, still, Lord. But when I started this business, I was 24 years old, 25 years old. I was 25. I was a single mom, and I was working a full-time job in grad school, doing heads almost every weekend, and dating Mr. Wiggum, and living my best life, whatever that means. And what felt like I was trying to live my best, I was searching for my best life. Let's say that I was searching for my best life. And that was 8 years ago. And so I transitioned from that to just being married. Then I transitioned from that to, I transitioned from, you know, apartment to a townhouse to a house, like to having a dog, like the responsibility, everything just changing, to having a bonus kid in my life who traveled with me everywhere. And it's just making a decision, because my bonus kid traveled with me like it was my kid. Then going on to have struggling with infertility, then going through having another baby. So now I'm a mom of 2, and building a house and going into, and then, you know, transitioning into My husband coming home full time, that was a transition, trying to figure out what life looks like then, and then going into a mom of 3. And then my husband becoming a full-time basketball coach. So now I'm like the single mom with all these kids when he goes to basketball. So I think this business is about like allowing yourself to go through transitions in life, because in knowing what is constant in your life, because the things that I loved back when I was a single mom of 1 have evolved. They've evolved. So I may have liked to sit down with Breon and watch American Idol, just me and him while Trey was in the bed, but now it's become a family event. So now our whole family watches it. You know, it's not that we don't still love American Idol, but now it's the whole family and not just Breon and I. So I think are you giving yourself the ability to evolve? Are you? And was all the things that you like only ratchet? Like, did you only like ratchet stuff? Or is like Robin saying, like, did you like to go karting? Okay, you can go karting and then don't go out to eat. You don't have to go out to eat. You know, Black people love to eat. Like, stop. Every time you want to go eat after everything. No, I'm going home. And I'm saying, say no, because if you're somebody who's trying to transition from drinking, don't go out to eat. Don't say no, I'm gonna go home. So go to go-kart and then go home. Don't go to places where you can drink while you're there. Especially if you know the crew that you're hanging with is gonna get a drink. Say, nah, let's go here. Because you know that they're gonna, in order, if they want the drink, they got to get the drink afterwards. So you're still able to have the fun. You just gotta be smart. Just gotta be smart.
Hello, everyone.
So
Just going back, I just been just writing down different nuggets, and one of the things was going back to why I started. And why I started, it wasn't for money or anything like that, which getting money was great, but I just really wanted to be off my antidepressants, because when I would try to wean myself off of them, I would literally feel like I see crackheads doing. You know, I just felt like I was having really bad withdrawals. And so my why really was starting just so I can get off antidepressants. And then a week later, when I saw that the products really worked, I was like, you know what? I've been selling accounts for 11 years. If I can sell accounts, I can sell something that works. And so my main thing was just doing this full time for that. But it was mainly because of just being able to get off of antidepressants, something that I've been on for 7 years, without the withdrawals, and I mean, my dad's a pastor, my mom's a co-pastor, my brother's the assistant pastor. And I mean, I didn't tell them. And when I was married, I didn't tell him about it, like nobody knew. Because honestly, it was introduced to me by just being at work. It's like, girl, you need some antidepressants. Because I knew my family, they'd say, pray about it. You know, of course, like that's what you're told, like just pray about it. But being able to come on in here and stop that, I mean, that was a blessing to me. So a lot of the times when y'all just said that, just going back to why I started. And it's just, that's a blessing just within itself. And then with myself going to celebrate my small wins like that, going back to that, to celebrate that. And this business has allowed me to go back to the basics, you know, because a lot of the times with church, it just gets so redundant. I mean, I went to sleep in church. I did my homework in church. I did, like Rachel said, just going to the clubbing and all that. I mean, I didn't do, my main thing was mainly just my mind, just getting over the different things in my mind, you know, so I could be in church and I still be somewhere else just mentally. And then I wrote down just showing up as a mentee. Sometimes with me, when someone is being a mentor for me, I just try to make, a lot of the reason why I hurt myself is because I try to just make myself okay mentally in my head with letting them down, because it's like, I don't want to let anybody down. So I just try to mentally make myself okay with letting them down. So that's why it makes it hard sometimes for me to be a mentee, because it's like I'm mentally like just kind of downplay it in my mind. So I'm okay with it because I don't want to. And I put on here, like, just allow myself, allow myself to be taught, going back to the other one from there. But I do like the grace period, like giving yourself grace, because that'll make me okay. That'll make it okay with me letting somebody down. And yeah, just a couple of things I wrote down for me. Okay.
So good. I gotta jump in before somebody else jumps in. Listen, and I said this morning, and oh, that's so crazy. Yep. Thank you, Jesus. I don't know if y'all know this, and I can only speak for Rachel. My mantra is every day can be day one. That is my personal mantra. The team mantra, be brave, be patient, be consistent. That's our family mantra. My personal mantra for myself is every day can be day one. I don't know if y'all know this, but I treat y'all the same way. When you wake up, it don't matter what happened yesterday. Today, it can be day one. I treat you as if it's day one. Every time. For those of y'all who have one day decided to wake up and finally act right, I treated you like it was day one. Now, that does not mean that we might not evaluate yesterday, because you do need to evaluate it. It's like doing a fit test when you come the first day of working out. And if you've never done a fit test before, there's no way to track it. Y'all know that? There's no way to really track your success, because you're not doing the same workout to see how you, I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Anybody ever did a fit test before? There's no way to know your progress. So you may have to evaluate, but every day is day one. And so I encourage you guys in your mentorship to treat people like that. And if you treat people like that, you'll show up like that. How you treat people and how you give yourself grace is how you extend that grace to other people. If I believe for myself every day is day one, I am judging you, not the Jesus judging, but I am dealing with you the way that I deal with myself, and it's based on what you give me for the day. So when people come like, okay, yeah, today I'm doing blah, 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 that's fine. I'm here to see and support you in what you say you're gonna do. I'm not over here like, you full of it. Now I may feel that way sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm human as that thing. I'd be like, bro, but I understand what I need grace, so I extend it. And that's why I always tell people, like, when you're ready, you come have a seat. Come on in. Take your seat. Come on. Who else got something real quick before we get up off here? How about this? Everybody drop in the comments or say what you're gonna do differently this week. Like what's going to be different when it comes to your business this week? What's gonna be different? I mean, for you, not for your team, for your enrollment. Like, what's the one thing? It could just be one thing. Like, we've talked about this before. You habit stack. You have to stack habits. You may be somebody who needs to go back to not looking at your bed, being trifling, and make it every day. I'm gonna just make my bed every day because I know that's just gonna help me. So when I get about that thing, I'm gonna make it. I don't know. To each his own. Everybody's different. And I think it's gotta be just, and be more specific, y'all. Like, if you're not specific, you can't hit a target that you don't know what it is. So like, for example, if you're saying consistency, consistent in what, and pick one thing. You're not going to be consistent in every area of your life. It's not going to happen like that. So what are you being consistent in? Consistent in sending 50 messages a day, consistent in posting 5 times a day. I don't know be consistent, like consistent. And I mean, not be consistent, Jesus, be specific. Lord, help me be specific. Yes, Lord. Yes. Yeah, I tell you this, one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur is to keep doing it when you don't see the results that you desire. I'm gonna tell you, one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur is to keep doing it consistently when you're not seeing the results that you want to see. It's almost like, man, I ain't getting the results that I want to see, so let me try to switch it up a little bit. But as an entrepreneur, you're going to do things a lot of the times that you don't get paid for. But then also the power of the pivot and enrollments. The power of the pivot and enrollments. I send emails every single day. Those who don't send emails, that's fine. That's on them. But I'm going to continue to send my emails because I know that they work for me. I know they work for most people who retain their customers, period. Okay? Because I know who I get emails from and I order from them the most. Guess what's the first store that I'm going to go to for an outfit? Express, because they blow me up. Oh my God, I love Express clothes. And so they just stay on my mind all the time, just stay on my mind. Who send me the most notifications unless I turn them off? Jesus, Target. That's me personally. You know, they send me, make sure I know, like, hey, we're here. We got to sell. Hey, Starbucks, like to let me know you can get stars today. I don't want your stars. Okay, thanks. Yeah. All right, workouts. Yes. I'm about to go in a while. Journaling every day. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Anybody got anything? We're kind of at time. I'm not going to let anybody say anything because we'll go over time. We're going to pray and we're going to get off here. I do want to show this real quick before we hop off of here. So we're going to pray. Oh, thank you. We're going to get up off of here and we're going to have a great Monday. Yeah. Come on, Janae. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we just love you on today. We honor you. We thank you for the squad. We thank you for this business. We thank you for a new opportunity, a new week. We thank you for you shifting and shaking up our hearts and mind. God, I thank you for every person who opened up their mouth today and shared. But we also thank you for everybody who got on to just listen as they begin to grow in their courage to speak the things that you're giving them. And so, God, we just praise you. We thank you for how we're just coming together. Everybody can sit here. Everybody can sit here and everybody is in different places. So God, let everybody feel welcome as they are working through whatever it is that they're working through. Listen, if they are Rachel back in 2013, God, let them know that they can still come sit in this circle as they push towards the mark that you've called them to. So God, we praise you in advance for the promotions that will happen, the reloads that will happen, the new business partners, the new customers, and just the overall success. God, I ask for encouraged hearts and minds in this moment. Any doubt, discouragement that has set in, any even embarrassment, people feeling embarrassed for feeling like they're teeter-tottering when it comes to their business. We just rebuke and bind that right now in the name of Jesus, God. Every day can be day one. So we thank you for your grace and your mercy as we move forward. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Happy Monday.